Hey y'all, Amber at Mean Acres here. Today I'm going to show you how to make an automatic feeder. This one's going to be for quail. I'll kind of talk you through how to do it for bigger birds. I do have a post on my Facebook page, Mean Acres with 2 E's. It's from several years ago, so you may have to go back and look for it. But you're going to want some kind of a container with a lid so you can take it off. You're going to want 90-degree street elbows. The size is going to depend on what kind of bird you're feeding. So this is for Cotornix, button, and bobwhite quail. So this is just 1.5 inches, I think. Yeah, 1.5 inches street elbows. Street elbows are important because of the angle of them as well as they're shorter. You're going to want some kind of a marker and then something to cut the plastic with. If I was doing this for chickens, I would have a hole saw, but I'm just going to do it for quail, so I'm just going to have a pair of kitchen scissors. A lighter's optional. I am going to use one. So for chickens, I would have a large tote. Generally, I think my totes are like, I think they're like the 13-gallon ones, or, you know, just totes from like Walmart. So you're going to want the bottom of your elbows, your PVC elbows, about 1 inch off the bottom of your container. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold it up to it and mark at least where the top, maybe, where the top and bottom of your thing is. Now, because I'm not cutting this with the hole saw, I am gonna mark all the way around it. As close as I can. Generally, I would say, depending on the size of your container, you may want to put two holes in it. That way you can feed more than one bird can eat at a time. Because of the thinness of this plastic, I've actually made a decision to try to melt it. So I'm going to cut, and I'll have a hole made when I get back. Okay, so I'm back. I got the hole cut. I melted the edges. Now what you do, you take your piece of pipe. See, I've got the hole melted in it, and you want to get it in. Go ahead. And down like that. So what they do is they stick their head in and they eat. This one might be a little high. So when I do the other side, I'll definitely put it way closer to the bottom. I'll probably put some silicone around the edges, which I've got some. I just have to go grab it. So I'm going to do another cut, and I'll see y'all once I get the other side in. Alright, so I'm back. As you can see, I've got both sides in. This one's a lot better. It's a lot closer to the bottom. So what we're going to do now is just silicone around the edges because you want to try to keep any moisture out. I did have to make a fairly large cut in the side for this one to get it in, but you know, it'll be okay. Now, I'm going to take this time to explain the differences between what I'm doing with this and what you would be doing for a bigger one. Obviously, if you're making this for a chicken, I would definitely use a hole saw. Generally, I make, sorry about that. Generally, I use 3-inch street elbows. So you're going to want to find a 3.5-inch hole saw because you're going to have the hole big enough to account for the opening. Also, what I have found, and you know what, your experience may vary, but I've made a lot of this type of feeder for chickens. And what I have found is generally you're going to want to run the hole saw in reverse. It helps to prevent the plastic from cracking, because the totes are made of plastic, and unless you're paying up for the really expensive ones that like Lowe's and Home Depot sell, which I'm not, because it's gonna hold chicken feed, and I just don't see the point in spending up the money for that. Run it backwards, because it will crack it, which actually negates the need for a lighter for the big ones. Again, I like using a lighter to get nice smooth edges. It's just easier that way. So as you can see, I've got the holes siliconed all the way around. As I was saying, running it backwards will help prevent cracking. Just trust me on that. It'll also melt the edges, make it smoother, make it easier to get the PVC in. Getting the PVC in can be a bit of a challenge because of the hole is, even though it's the right size, there are like the letters and stuff. Just go slowly, don't force it, because you don't want to crack it. Don't forget to silicone the insides as well. I almost did, but as you can see, I remembered. Another really good tip that I've kind of come up with doing these over the years is make sure that your silicone is a quick dry silicone. I used Flex Seal for a few years, or for a few of them a few years ago, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't overly thrilled with it, so I switched to just this cheap white silicone that, like, you know, Walmart carries. And I've actually had a lot better experience with it sealing really well. Make sure that you seal it. At first, when I first started making these, I didn't seal it, because I'll be honest with you, the tutorial videos that I watched didn't mention sealing them at all, and I didn't think about it, to be honest. But you don't want moisture getting in here. You also want to make it difficult for rodents and things like that that are going to be eating your feed, that aren't your birds. You're going to want to make it difficult for them to get in. One thing I will note, if you're putting this around chicks, you can use these for chicks. Make sure, if you're using this around chicks and younger birds, that you're checking inside of your elbows periodically for birds. I have unfortunately had birds get inside the elbows, and because I wasn't checking, they actually did pass. So that's something that you want to check for. But so this is done. Not real pretty. Not pretty at all. But I'm going to let it dry, and I will show y'all a video of it in the quail pen filled up when it's dry in about an hour. Hey guys, alright, so I brought the feeder out here. I wanted to show you it done anyways. Can't really show you it working because the quail are still a little too scared of me. But so here it is. This is the feed I feed the quail. One tip, try to make sure that your feed is actually up in your things, at least at first, to train them. Now, granted, the quail right now have feed in their pan, so they probably aren't going to mess with it for a couple of days. I may end up making that for the younger birds that are kind of running around. You can see a guinea trying to get in here right now. But yeah, that's how I make my automatic feeders. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow for more videos. Make sure that bell notification's on so that you get notified as soon as I upload. Have a great day. Bye, guys.